Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Heroes. I'm just going to say it out loud. I have watched the episode 38 that we're talking about today 3 times today. It's the day of recording. This is literally the day that the episode was first made available through subtitles. So, watched it 3 times already. This debut, fucking legendary. We need to get into it. So, jumping in from last week, Ace got the new buckle, right? The Mark III, or the Geats, not Geats, sorry, the Boost Mark III / Geats 9 buckle, right? So you go straight into Boost Mark III form. It's sort of a Berserk form, but it's more of a, just a normal form, but also he's already pissed. And so he comes after Niram, starts, beating the shit out of him a little bit, and just kind of raging against the machine all over the place. He eventually tries to zoom himself up into the sky to get to his mom, and can't fully reach it, falls back down to the ground in a big crater, and kind of these 9 dark foxtails kind of envelop him, and he kind of disappears. Into this pocket dimension, where he's speaking to some mysterious person with a fox mask on, which I kind of want. I hope they put that out. I don't want it to be a P-Band-Aid thing, but I would like that mask. Anyway, so that's how we start it, is with Boost Mark III kind of being like this incomplete step towards Geats 9, right? So as this is happening, we also get to see what the other riders are up to. Neon, Michinaga, Sarah, and Keiwa, respectively. Of course, Sarah and Neon don't know that they're riders anymore because their ID cores were smashed. So Keiwa gets home after everything went down in the last episode and sees Sarah, and she says something about it's time to henshin, and he's like, henshin? What? And he sees her face, and she has like a beauty mask on. It's a whole gag, and he falls over, and he's like, what's going on? And she goes, oh, because of this. And he looks at it. It's a beauty mask. It's time to beautify henshin or beauty henshin. He's like, you don't have to henshin if you want. Like, he's like, wait, you have your memories of being a rider? She goes, what are you talking about? He goes, you don't have to henshin if you don't want to. It's fine. She just kind of looks at him weird. And it's kind of sad because I think part of him kind of wants her to still be a rider, but other part of him wants her to be safe. So I think he's kind of torn a little bit how he feels. Michinaga is, of course, looking at his little board of his bad drawings representing everybody that are riders that are left. Now that he's defeated Neon and Hakubi, or Sarah, all that's left is Geats and Keiwa. Just after this, we see Ace in the little pocket dimension, the darkness little pocket dimension, talking to this man, who we later find out is just himself, kind of questioning him on what he wants. And he keeps telling him that he wants to be able to save his mother. He's like, well, if you want to do that and you want to destroy the DGP and stop the DGP, I'm not sure the way you're doing it is the right way to do it. All this destruction is really not going to be, great for everybody. And it's causing a lot of, it's going to cause a lot of misery just destroying everything just to remake things. And kind of calls him out on it. And I like this. I like that it's like this back and forth, trying to figure out what he really wants, right? We also get some good stuff with Niram, Sumuru, and also, Sumari, and also, what's her name? Samas now? The one girl that was with Niram, now she has a name, her name's Samas, and she'd been always working with, apparently, Sururu. And he asked Sururu, I want to know all about this, goddess of, the desire goddess, and how you helped create her and whatever. So he kind of explains everything with it, but that now she's starting to lose her powers a bit, and that they already have a worthy candidate. He's like, what do you mean a candidate? He's like, well, Samus comes in and says that, we found a way to kind of hone in on what Mitsume's powers were and create another person, namely a navigator, Sumuri, with those same abilities. Somebody's like, what? And there's no way it's me. She goes, really? Didn't you pray hard enough and Ace came back? And she thinks about it, and that's exactly what happened. So now they're all on the same page. But Niram's not too happy about it. He accuses Sururu, and he says, well, what do you mean? What's going on here? This feels like this is all built upon a lie then. We're supposed to be basing the DGP not on a fabrication, but on reality. And Sururu says, I will do what I want, and blah, 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 and the granddad is coming. And, of course, Niram is pissed about that and keeps questioning him. Well, he goes to get to still challenge Sururu, who says, you dare defy me. And Samus turns around and straight shoots him with a real gun. Nero just gets shot right in his side. Right here. Blood and everything, which is a lot for this kind of a show for kids in Japan. But he falls and he drops the Vision Driver, and she picks it up and says, I'm taking over I'm taking over your job as producer and blah, blah, blah. And he's just shocked entirely. And so is Sumuri to an extent. She actually helps him get up, which I don't really understand because it felt like he wasn't always really on her side and was a little more on the evil side of things. So I don't understand why she was concerned about him, but whatever. So they basically make it clear to everybody that they know that now Mitsumi will be gone with this Grand End thing, and Sumuri will be the next candidate for Desire Goddess, and they'll just start all over again. And so we flash back to Ace, who's being questioned by what we figure out was just himself, or another version of himself, saying, in the last 2,000 years, you've accomplished nothing. You've not saved your mother. You've not even found a way to talk to her. How do you think anything's going to be different this time? And Ace eventually answers back and says, I'm going to destroy this world and recreate an ideal world where everybody can be happy. And his other version of himself that had the fox mask on takes it off and says, that's stupid, and you're going to repeat the mistakes of your mother, and blah, blah, blah. So he finally comes back to being, conscious again. And Jean is there, and he's like, Ace, he helps him get up, and he says, what happened? And he kind of explains it a little bit. He's like, but I have to find my mother, I have to talk to her, I have to get this figured out now. And Jean tells him that, he believes in him, and he wants him to achieve his dream and all of that. And so he just teleports away. Meaning not Jean, Ace does. And he ends up in this dimension with Mitsumi. We finally see her in the flesh. We're kind of talking and going back and forth. And she tells him, why didn't you forget me? You'll be happier. And he says, no, that you saying that to me only pushed me, to push me farther and made my drive even harder and focused more on wanting to find you. And she says, this is only going to lead to your ruin, and blah, blah, blah. And he says, I don't care. I want to create an ideal world, destroy this world, and create an ideal world where everybody can be happy. And she said, do you want to know when we were truly happy? And he goes, what do you mean? She goes, the day you were born was the happiest day in my life and your father's. And he says, really? And she says, yes, it was. You were a miracle, and we were so ecstatic to have you. And she's like, I don't want you to get so hung up on what I represent that you're not willing to still live your own life and forge your own path. I want you to be able to continue forward. And I really like this, that he got to actually talk to her, and we actually see a physical form for her rather than just, not seeing her face or being obscured or whatever. But she kind of tells him that, she does love him, but she wants him to find happiness and he doesn't necessarily have to forget her, but he has to move on past her, and that there's really not a way that she can get out of this alive. And so he tearfully kind of accepts and, walks away. And we see him with the, Boost Mark III / Geats 9 buckle, right? So Sururu takes the Vision Driver, henshins into Gazer, and starts up the Grand End, right? So it's this huge red, energy thing enveloping the whole planet. First we see Neon being told by Kyun that, she is a Kamen Rider and blah, blah, blah. Her bodyguard's there. We saw our good friend Tom Constantine. Hello, Tom. We're so excited to see you. Telling her, you told me to remind you of who you are. You are Kamen Rider Nago, and blah, blah, blah. She still is, really confused about what he's saying because her Rider Corps was destroyed, so she has no idea, right? And they see what's happening to this guy. Kaor runs out, and he sees what's happening, tries to throw on his driver, tries to throw him on the ninja buckle, right there. And it disappears, and he goes, well, where am I? Why am I here? Oh, what is that? And he's all scared about the sky, instantly losing his memories, right? That's what the Grand End is, and what they said it was going to be. Same thing happens to Michinaga. He goes, I guess it's too late. Disappears out of his hand. He doesn't even know where he is. So finally, Gazer's doing the whole thing, and the Grand End is happening. Only light that there is a spotlight on him. Everything else is dark. And he says, that's it. We're over. It's done. He snaps his fingers. Boom. Light goes out. All of a sudden, another light comes on. He's like, what? Turns around, and it's Ace. He goes, Ace, but how? Geats, how? And he says, I'm here to stop you. And he puts the driver on. He says, I'm here to make my own ideal world, one where everyone can be happy. I'm not going to let you throw this away. I remember everything. And he remembers everything that happened in the entire season up to now, because now he's fully realized his own path forward and his powers as being at least partially a desire god / goddess. So he throws on the buckle, and not only am I super pumped AF to get this fucking buckle, but This henshin sequence and this fight, I had to pause it a couple times and breathe for a few minutes because I was so like breathless and gasping at every single thing that happens in this next fight with Gazers, with Sururu Gazer. I do like the added touch for Gazer suit. One minor thing before we go forward here, that they have the little red piece that gets added to the face area to kind of differentiate him from other Gazers or Glares or whatever. But anyway, he throws it on, and on attack, he has this, and he pulls it apart. Boost Mark 9, throws it on. Set ignition, revolves on, and it's really cool. He like throws his hand out. He's like, the Boost Mark 9 little thing goes behind him, and we get the suit. And this is hands down, to me, the absolute best looking final form in all of Reiwa so far, and it absolutely challenges the very best of Heisei, in my opinion. This is a beautifully crafted design. I love everything about it. I love the helmet. I love the eyes, and the eyes have like that type Trideron type, hypnotist little like swirly thing in them. The sounds when he moves, the little boost noises. I love the effect of the building that they're standing on. He swipes his hand, and his foxtails go out and blow up the building, and then recreate it again as they fall off. He does it a couple times throughout the fight. He's jumping around as the insert song is playing, the theme song, and he jumps off, like he gets thrown back by a building by like getting shot at by the Gazer's little laser blast from the cameras, and he jumps off that building. It's glass, and it breaks, and then goes back to normal again. Just fixes itself. We hear the little clock noise too, which kind of sounds like stuff from like Geo. And he's fighting and stuff, and then of course Sururu, really goes ham, links some energy through his cameras and makes like a whip. So it's whipping it around, throws it right at Ace. It comes at him. The song is the music is blaring. As it gets to him, he goes, shh. Instantly breaks the fourth wall, pauses the music. The music goes silent. He has with the Geats QB9 Buster or whatever, turns it into the sword form, slashes the orbs away, completely beats ass, throws the sword through all of the Gazer orb shield thing all the way right to his chest near him, right, near him, like not touching him yet, but almost. Then my man activates the boost tactical victory, and Ryder kicks the sword into Sudoru's chest. So fucking metal. This was one of the very best fights, one of the very best suits, one of the very best final form debuts. I adore this episode. I'm probably going to watch it again before the day is done. I watched it already 3 times through. I'm probably going to watch it again. But he does defeat Sururu. Sururu does, as he's disappearing, take the vision driver, so I don't understand how he's able to do that. I'm just going to come back later. But he defeats him, and so he's able to recreate the world how he wants. Tries to put up a Desire Royale rule, that goes away, and comes up with a new rule by Ace saying that, with the DGP now, that he can, recreate things as he sees fit, and blah, blah, blah. So, next week's episode is showing everybody there and remembering everything, right? So Neon, Michinaga, Keiwa, how are you? You win. I think even Sarah, whatever. And Michinaga questioning Ace, being like, why are you the only one that gets to be the sole rider? He's like, because it's my world. And they're kind of going back and forth a little bit. We can introduce to another character who's the new, seems to be the new, producer or something like that, or overseer, supervisor. That is, his name is Geats, apparently. I don't know how that's happening. We also see Barabat and Kikra are still around. Clearly their wishes must have messed with things so they could stay behind, even though they were supposed to leave with the Grand End. And they seem to be responsible for whatever's happening with bringing the Jamato back, because they say during it, how are the Jamato back? What's going on? There must be somebody doing this. And that's how we end, the preview for next week. Overall, this episode is fucking beautiful. Absolutely amazing all the way through. I love all the character moments and the focus on Ace. He is absolutely right now my number 1 favorite main rider, bar none, honestly. It's a very unique list, and this episode cemented the fact that Geats is in my top 3 rider seasons. Number 1 is Forze, number 2 is Geats, number 3 is Build. It literally pushed Build down because of how great this episode was today. Score-wise, I'm just going to give it a straight solid 10 out of 10. I would take a little bit of points off because we didn't really get to see Boost Mark 3 for very long, but I can forgive that because of how absolutely beautiful and mesmerizing Geats 9 is, so I don't really care all that much. But it is a fantastic episode, worth your time in every way possible, and just a really, really, really captivating and entertaining episode. I'm really excited for what we got going on now. Episode 39 forward has a lot of ground to cover. We still have to get the Shogun Buckle final form for Keiwa, the Mao Buffa thing for Buffa, plus the Fantasy Buckle, which is supposed to double as not only another buckle for Seeker, who's supposed to come back, but also the final form buckle, basically, for Nago, with a new ID core that's golden for her. So I wonder how that's going to go. I also hope that I'm trying to hold out hope that with this being a newly created world, that he will allow riders to be in it again, and then maybe we will get Ben and John to Henshin with a full suit and a helmet. That's all I want. I just want them in entry forms. Just give them entry forms. I don't care. Like, you don't have to give them the full armor pieces and everything. Just give my man a helmet. Goddamn. I love this episode, guys. I don't know about you, but let me know in the comments. Talk to me about it. Start up a conversation. Strike up a conversation. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you in the middle? If you hated it, who hurt you in your life? I'm just kidding. Thanks for the likes, the comments, the sharing, watching the video, subscribing. I thank you guys so much. We just recently on the podcast had on our guest Mitbari talking about the music of Tokusatsu and also our favorite gimmick items. So definitely check that out on the Henshins and Homies channel. That's linked in the description there. As far as content this week, I did have my Geats and King Oger episodes from last week review up. So episode 37 for that and 13, I think, for King Oger. And also my Shin Kamen Rider review is up. It starts with spoiler talk right around 8.5-ish minutes. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, I would be done at that point and then come back once you've hopefully had a chance to see the movie. But I go pretty deep into what I loved about it, what I didn't love, and just overall the experience. So definitely check that out if you guys want to see some more content from me. Pretty soon be getting the Geats 9 buckle. So I'm hoping to review that, Tokuto view on that, so be on the lookout for that. But as always, stay hooked on heroes. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye, and goosebumps. It was so cool. Bye.